Good morning. Please down. His Excellency Zhao Zhenhua, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, Secretary Greg Domingo, Secretary Marojas, Secretary Joel Villanueva, Senator Cinta Villar, Congresswoman Maria Senaidang Ping, Dr. Alfonso C., Dr. Lucio Tan, the Chairman Emeritus, the FFCCCII Honorary President, starting with Uncle Doming Lee, Mr. Tan Ching, Dr. Francis Chua, Dr. Robin C., Dr. John Tan, Mr. Jimmy Tang, and Mr. Vicente Yu, Mr. Angel Ngu, the FFCCCII Executive Vice President, Mr. Han Si, Mr. Jose Sio, members of the Federation of the Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry Incorporated, fellow workers of government, honored guests, mga minamahal ko pong kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Tinanong po ako ni Kalihim Rojas kung darating ako ngayong araw sa inyong pagtitipon. Sabi ko, bakit naman ako hindi pupunta dyan? Nandiyan na nga si Dr. Alfonso C., sinamahan pa ni Dr. Cecilio San Pedro na pag natapos natin pakinggan, fully charged na po ako, maski anong kakatapat. Haharapin ko itong araw na ito, ma-osmosis na ako nitong dalawa at energized na rin ako. Siyempre, sayang rin yung charging. Yeah. Anyway, since I assumed office in 2010, your federation has been one of those I've met with regularly. So perhaps you may have noticed how the way I addressed you has changed over time. Early on, we spoke mostly of what we intended to do over the course of our administration. Over the past few years, however, maybe you have noticed that we speak less about what we intend to do and more about what has been done. Now, as I am a little more than a year away from stepping down from office, we see an even clearer picture of just how the work of our administration, together with the Filipino people, has transformed the economic landscape of our country for the better. Excuse me. This list of what we have achieved together over these past 4 years and 9 months is long. There is our gross domestic product, which averaged a growth of 6.3% over the period 2010 to 2013, which is a stark improvement from the 4.3% GDP growth between 2006 to 2009. Our net foreign direct investments likewise reached an all-time high in 2014, rising to $6.2 billion from just $1.07 billion in 2010. The international community has regained confidence in us. In 2013, the three most renowned credit ratings agencies unanimously granted us investment-grade ratings, and since then, our credit ratings have continued to rise. We have also gone from being considered the sick man of Asia to being called Asia's rising tiger. Indeed, in such a short span, the Philippines has recaptured the imagination of the world, and I am certain that all of us want to build on our current momentum. Those of you in this room are all captains and lieutenants of your respective industries, and I wish to talk to you about the vital role you play in this regard and in the future of the Philippine commerce at large. Excuse me. Not too long ago, the idea of maximizing profits was all about cutting down costs. And since a lot of the products we manufacture have labor as a primary value-added component, cutting down costs meant keeping wages as low as possible. I submit, however, that this has the net effect of keeping the economy very small. After all, workers in large part are also consumers, and by limiting their wages, one also limits the purchasing power of the market. The true path to sustained profit and growth lies in empowering our workers. Increasing their disposable income increases demand and therefore increases competition. It logically follows that this pushes companies to strive for greater productivity and efficiencies, allowing them to become even more competitive, especially beyond our borders, which leads to growth for the economy at large. This is the approach that allows for a situation where truly everybody wins. This is why the North Star of our administration has always been inclusive growth, and why a large part of our economic strategy intersects with our social strategy. Over the course of our administration, we have nearly doubled the budget of the Department of Education, increased the budget of the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority by 84%, increased the budget of the Department of Social Welfare and Development by a multiple of 7 and tripled our infrastructure budget. Might I note that we did this without raising taxes apart from the sin tax. But of course, the appeal continues. Please pay the correct taxes. Empowering these agencies has allowed us to double down on projects that expand the spectrum of opportunities for our people. There is the Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino program, for instance, which gives cash grants to our poorest 4.4 million families and households, on the condition that pregnant mothers go through health checkups and that children go to school, amongst others. Last year, we expanded this program to include households with high school-age children, after a study by the Philippine Institute of Development Studies revealed that high school graduates earn about 40% more than those who only spent some years in the elementary level. There is also the Training for Work Scholarship Program under TESDA, who I know your federation assisted with the construction of the Green Technology Center, which was turned over last week. The TWSP equips our people with the skills necessary to take advantage of the growing number of opportunities in our country and under our administration. We have not just expanded it, we have increased its efficiency. The numbers are impressive. Over the course of our administration, TESDA has granted more than 1.4 million scholarships. Of course, this is considering that some of these scholars took multiple courses. Furthermore, due to Secretary Joel Villanueva's active engagement with the relevant sectors, there has likewise been a very significant improvement in terms of employment rates. TWSP graduates, for instance, registered an employment rate of 70% in 2012 and has even reached nearly 96% in specific sectors. Compare this to the employment rate of all TESDA scholars from 2006 to 2008, which was just at 28.5%. It is true that the primary goal of these programs is to provide opportunities to each and every Filipino willing to devote their time and energy to improving their lot in life. But there is an added bonus, an increase in empowered consumers, which bodes well for businesses like yours and the economy at large. The members of the FFCCCII have always reached out to help communities, whether it is through scholarship funds or medical missions. Today, however, I'm inviting you to do even more to help us empower the Filipino people. When I was in the legislature, I proposed a measure that called for businesses to share parts of their net new profits with their employees. The thinking behind this was simple. Our business environment had reached a point where management and labor had become too adversarial. Where labor wanted more benefits, management wanted to minimize costs, leading to a seemingly endless tug of war, often at the expense of potentially lucrative opportunities for all. My intent was to make the antagonistic you versus I into a we. And the methodology was a system that rewards productivity that allows all stakeholders to benefit from increased profits. I do not expect such a bill to be passed anytime soon, but perhaps your companies can take the initiative, make the effort to give your employees a little more, and it will serve to drive them to be even more productive, while at the same time spurring a virtuous cycle of trust, confidence, and sustained growth in terms of our economy. Thus, I'm hoping for a continued, if not increased, participation in the grand task of nation building. The Chinese people are known to place great value in family ties, very much like the typical Filipino. In fact, the Chinese usually expand the idea of family to cover multiple generations. The question I wish to leave with you today is this. When the time comes for us to leave this earth, will the succeeding generations look to us and say, "Thank you for bequeathing to us a better world"? Or will they ask why we left them exactly the same set of problems, if not more? I am certain that, like me, you want to be remembered as part of the solution and not the problem. Thus, I invite you, let us continue working together the way we did in the aftermath of Yolanda and in solving the problem of the port congestion. Moving forward, I hope you will continue to partner with all our fellow countrymen and help steer our ship of state towards its rightful place in the sun. Thank you. Good day.